and that week, in that week in March, both Phil and me and I were a part of that council that came together to say, where are we taking this and all this work we're doing in the future, and this is part of that. This is just another step, and this is only a tiny step, I think, to where you guys are going to take this. So with that, I want to also say that last night's film, really powerful film, Beirut After the Blast, was brought by Phil and the company MContent. So Phil, tell them a little bit about what you're up to.
Thanks, Jordan. Yeah, first of all, thank you in general. As I said last night, and everyone else to say today, done absolutely a stellar job on supporting us all in our projects. So yeah, Phil McKenzie, I co-founded a company called Goldfinch 10 years ago, traditional finance and production in film and TV. Been involved in a lot of projects through that, and all 100% of them are indie projects as well. So we understand the pain and the effort that it takes to get a film off the ground, using next to no resources, and do that repeatedly again and again and again. We were lucky enough to meet Nick. You heard from Nick earlier, talk about the educational and the funding stuff we're doing in FF3. That was our route into Web3, meeting Jordan and all these amazing people here today. And along that journey, I met the founder and mayor of MContent, which is a watch-to-earn platform out of Dubai. And they'd been very quietly building for essentially the last 12 months and created a huge community of 1.5 million users. They had a day trade volume of 10 million on their token. They had a market cap at 150 million at one stage. They'd done huge things, but no one really knew about them outside of that community and the UAE really. And from the start, I was telling them, the thing that we can really push here is the content side. How do we get better content? How can we take this fantastic platform, this community, and how can we leverage that into more content? And don't get me wrong, in the last 12 months, they've commissioned 12 films and TV shows. We just announced one last week at MIP with Decrypt Media and Film3 Studios. The documentary you saw was another. These guys came out the gate hard, fast, and with a statement of intent to do stuff. And so I'm excited to be working with them whilst we're here. We're looking for more projects to fund, to co-produce, to acquire. So yeah, and we want to find more from the Film3 community to lift it all together. But at the heart of it is that watch-to-earn model. And putting power actually back in the hands of the audience, because we're all building here and we're all trying to create our communities. But what MContent wants to try and do is better incentivize that from an audience perspective as well. So give them a share of the revenues that are coming through the films from an AVOD or an SVOD perspective. And so any titles that come onto the platform are split 65% revenue to the filmmaker, 35% to the viewer, and that's done through tokenization. You can then use those tokens for a number of other things. Anytime that token's traded, part of that goes into our content creator fund, and that is used to make more content. And in doing so, the token holder is given a share of the future revenues of that content as well. So that's very broadly and quickly the ethos and the structure. And like I said, would love to hear more, pick up more projects here and hopefully try and bring more to fruition through it.
Oh, that's amazing. The issue today, of course,